So I want to hop on here and talk about power scaling, and more so when I mean power scaling, I mean in series, not power scaling where let's take a Viltrumite versus a Kryptonian. Because if we start talking about that type of power scaling, you gotta really do a lot of balancing between things, and even then, there's no point in balancing it because Superman is doing far more than any Viltrumite ever could, and it's just far stronger than Viltrumites. So it this isn't a power scaling video like that, but more so, I want to talk about like the Bleach power scalers where you could show them evidence panel by panel, page by page, or scene by scene in the anime or manga, and they will dead ass look you in the eyes and tell you, nah, that doesn't push my agenda, so you're wrong. And I'm just sitting there thinking, what are we talking about? The biggest one is Dangai Ichigo over um, full true Shikai Ichigo. And, you know, they could have a point if they wouldn't bring up the fact that they keep saying something like, oh, Dangai is a combination of all of Ichigo's powers, being Full Brain, Quincy, Hollow, Shinigami. And I'm just sitting there thinking, one, Ichigo didn't even have Full Bring abilities at this point. He didn't know he had Full Bring powers. But even then, True Shikai is that. True Shikai is Ichigo after learning how to use his Full Bring abilities. After, like, he's found out, yeah, my mom's a Quincy, my dad's a Shinigami, and he realizes what white is, being a hollow that kind of attached to his soul. Ichigo accepts all of this, and boom, his abilities are now all together. He can use Blunt Vein. He can use like his Soul Reaper powers, which is really the Getsuga Tensho and stuff like that, where he just absorbs Reishi around him and then unleashes it, which is kind of a move within the Shiba clan itself. But when you really think about it, it's just the thing of the people that say Dangai over True Shikai just don't want to admit that True Shikai is stronger. Dangai has a weakness, and he has a time limit. Dangai cannot last forever, since after Ichigo's gone through the Dangai and trained to unleash all of his energy at once, he's automatically on a time limit of, I need to finish this foe right here and now. And I'm just gonna tell you, Yuha would easily tank Dangai Ichigo's Mugetsu, because it's something he would just rewrite. He would just rewrite it out of the future, and then Ichigo's out of powers. That's it. Ichigo would lose his abilities right then and there, and you can't say, "Oh, he'll still have a bit of time." No, no. I like once he hit Aizen with Mugetsu, almost immediately he started losing every single ounce of power. He was about to try and do it again, but he ran out. But moving from there, the disrespect of Kimpachi with power scalers, it's insane. They will dead ass look you in the eyes and once more tell you, nah, Kimpachi's not that guy. Like, he only beat Unohana because she was already weakened. She had been healing him, and by the time she popped Bankai, she had been damaged and also weakened. And then you can tell them that's just factually not true. Unohana's Bankai is quite literally like the ability to use the blood from Minazuki or Minazushi. I'm pretty sure it's Minazuki. To use her blood, the blood from that, to heal, attack, and defend herself. She can manipulate the blood from her Bankai to do whatever she wants it to do. And that's the thing. She's healing herself throughout that entire fight until Kenpachi has fully reawakened himself from nerfing himself when he was a kid after their first battle. And Unohana outright states to him, or outright states to the audience, that, yeah, Kenpachi is far stronger than me, and I would have lost back then if he didn't choose to weaken himself and quit the fight. Because he, for the first time in his life, he had finally found someone that could actually stand toe to toe, yeah, toe to toe with him, and he didn't want to lose that thrill from that fight. But they'll the power scalers, they'll look at you and once more say, nah, nah, Kenpachi's weak, man. He's just not that strong. Like, honestly, Urahara could have beat Grimmy. And I'm just thinking, what are we talking about? Kenpachi is the only person besides Ichigo and maybe Aizen that could have beaten Grimmy during this time. Like, Grimmy was just far too strong for most Soul Reapers at that point in time. And they'll just continuously tell you, nope, anyone could have done it. Kenpachi wasn't needed, which is just wrong. What is Urahara doing when he gets thrown into the vacuum of space? Nothing. He can't do anything because he doesn't have an ability for that. He can't use his Bankai to unstitch space itself. Kenpachi is the only one who can because his Zanpakuto, and quite literally his ability is he will destroy, that he can cut through practically anything. As long as he can actually cut it, he'll cut it, which he does with space. He just breaks it and then cuts through it. There's nothing more to it. Kenpachi was the only one. And quite literally, Grimmy also says, I'll just become you, Kenpachi. I'll just harness, I'll imagine your strength and use that to my advantage. And when he does, it fails. Grimmy tries to use it and he kills himself doing so. It's not because he didn't imagine properly or anything. He states outright, no, Kenpachi Zaraki, I didn't imagine your strength wrong. The only thing I didn't account for is only you yourself can handle the strength that comes with being Kenpachi Zaraki. And they'll just say, nah, my agenda though. And you'll just sit there like, what are we talking about? But finally, the last one I want to talk about, the Toshiro glaze. The glaze on Toshiro is insane. They will sit there and tell you Toshiro is capable of freezing concepts off of one panel, and that's it. This man, Toshiro, is potential out the wazoo. Like, I'm not saying Toshiro sucks, but what I am saying is Toshiro does not do what these people are saying he does. Toshiro cannot freeze concepts. And this panel comes from one scene in the manga where, if you haven't read the manga or anything, I just say back away. This is Core 4 and further in the series Bleach spoilers, so go ahead and just walk off. Yep. But the Toshiro fans will outright just tell you he can freeze concepts where he cannot do that, and it's one panel of him freezing Gerard and saying, oh, your hope is now meaningless while he's frozen. And the panel itself will say something along the lines of, matter is that when matter is frozen, its function ceases to exist. And they'll just say, yep, he froze the concept of hope itself, which is not what happens. He just outright freezes Gerard, and the sword cannot allow Gerard to use hope to re-heal himself or anything like that. That's really all Toshiro gets. And then they'll also say, oh, he'll just freeze the concepts, or his Bankai is so powerful, which isn't true. Toshiro's Bankai is quite literally him on a time limit because he cannot unleash his full power unless he waits a little bit of time until like 15 or 10 minutes have passed and all the petals are gone. All in all, that's Bleach power scaling for you. I'm done.